Hey, you guys. Good morning or afternoon or whatever it is. I'm here with Nicole Pemberton.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Nicole is. It's funny how people come to us, I saw Nicole on social media, and I could see that she was making a difference. And actually, you might have reached out to us, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
After I saw a few videos, and you were reaching out and
Yeah.
saying, anybody interested? And I'm like, well, I'm interested. So
Nice.
I've seen your store, and I'm sure we've been in passing at Sangha and some other festivals, but
Did
just
you go to Sangha?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh
were
yeah.
there.
Yeah. Been there for
This year?
Yeah, the last one. I was there at the very first one.
Yes.
So I've done it a few times.
Our friend Ray Hawkins.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm sure we've been in passing, but never formally introduced.
Yes.
So, and I've been seeing your work, so I said, I need to introduce myself.
I'm sure glad you have. I'm sure glad, yeah.
So, yeah.
Nicole and I were just talking, and she shared with me kind of how through her personal experience came to this place of recognizing that many women are of all cultures, I would say, are stuck or caught up in or having symptoms of, oh hell, I can't describe it. I'm gonna get Nicole to tell us how she got to this place where her mission became to help women to wake up. So tell us how, kind of the short version of that story you told me of, where you recognized that there's something was amiss.
The short version of how I got here was I discovered I had our benign tumors and through a really horrible experience with the gynecologist and with a couple doctors it was really insensitive, not compassionate at all, and was giving me not so great options and painting the picture very in a cold fashion. When I was vulnerable, I was scared and unsure of what is this? What am I going through? Only to say that it was very common. It's very common in women of color. And here are your three options. What do you want to do? And through those couple of appointments, I left I felt very disempowered. I felt shamed. I felt just lack of compassion with the initial people that were consulting me about the situation.
Yeah.
That left me with, I didn't know what to do. So through that experience, after I collected my thoughts and really thought about what am I going to do, realizing that I wasn't seeing those doctors again, those two that initiated this process and let me know what was going on. I started to seek out other practitioners, and I really started to go towards the holistic side and to get a deeper understanding into the body and also understand and figure out what the emotional component to this and what else I could do to advocate for myself and to help understand what is this and why does it affect. I was starting to get really annoyed with people telling me all the time, oh, this is common, this affects the, women of color regularly, so you're not going through something and you'll be fine. I'm like, but why? Why is this why does this happen to a certain groups of people more? Doesn't mean it doesn't happen to all groups of women. A lot of women go through this, but there isn't a lot of an alternative to figuring this out and figuring out the body and looking at the life in general and saying, okay, what are some of the things that you can be proactive into figuring out, into healing your body, or getting, or going, using the recommendations of your family doctor that you trust, but also being an advocate to also do steps for yourself. To really bridge the two pieces together. So after I found a new doctor and a new gynecologist, I really did a deep dive into figuring this out. After I found a new doctor and a new gynecologist, and I sat them down and I interviewed them, I was just like, I'm not having this happen again. I sat down and I said, I wanted to know who I needed to be sure of the people on my healthcare team. Like I decided, I'm like, I'm going to have a tribe of people that will listen to me and will hear me and will answer my question, and that I felt comfortable with.
Good for you.
To make an informed decision. Now, after I had that, and I got an MRI, I got an ultrasound, they found that through the process, the fibroids were too big for me to be able to fully just let them heal on its own, to dissolve on its own. So I had to go the route of surgery. And even in that process, I said to my gynecologist, I had a bucket list of questions before, and luckily he sat down with me. He answered all my questions. He was actually on his way to Vancouver right after my appointment, and answered all my questions. I had 10 huge fibroids removed. So just opening up the womb space and opening all of that out, and to be able to go through that healing journey was quite a process. But through that process I got a lot of information and a lot of things that, creativity that I just could, or emotions I couldn't hold in anymore. It had to come out. So the Goddess Moves, really one of those things that is just like, I can't hold in this information.
So what's the Goddess Moves?
The Goddess Moves is a combination of marrying movement. I now frame it as movement alchemy, using movement as a transformative tool with ancestral practices within our modern world. So within this movement of self-care and wellness, and where we're in this rise of really how do we take care of ourselves, right?
So healing dance?
Using dance as a tool for healing. Yeah. And so then we have a lot of ancestral practices like meditation. I mean, it's not a new thing, right? Breath work, that is not a new thing. And if you get more specific with the uterus and healing your womb space, there are things like yoni steaming, looking at your women looking at their menstrual cycles, and regulating their hormones, and then you start to look at on a bigger scale about the physical and the emotional body with your environment, where you're putting your energy, career, relationships.
And what about conditioned beliefs?
Beliefs, absolutely, because the emotions and the traumas and the patterns, all of those fit in there as well. As to like even the belief that you are worthy. I mean, if that belief pattern isn't there, if you don't believe that you're worthy, then all of a sudden your expression becomes compromised because you're not expressing your truth, because you pull back and out of fear, or thinking, oh, my opinion isn't valued enough, so I'm not going to speak.
So you're doing weekend work with people, like, or just or how is it set up so that women, so if somebody's watching today and saying, I want to bust out of my tight little box,
Yeah.
you know, of beliefs about myself.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just coming out of a traumatic relationship, or they recognize that the you know, how they were brought up has kept them small. And so how do you help them? What do you know?
So there's a few ways that I do my work. I write a lot.
Yes.
So a lot of the ideas and reflections come through writing and through my blog, and through live events where I called Embodied Womb Wisdom, where we gather as women and we vocalize, we share our stories, right? When you share your stories,
Perfect, yeah.
when you physically speak them, verbally speak them, you are, as my mentor would say, speaking spells, but you're also you are healing yourself by rewiring your brain.
Sure, and
right?
listening to other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You realize, the first time I realized this in a women's circle, you got a group of like 40 people saying, everybody, you can relate
Yeah.
to what they're saying, you know, and you realize you're not alone. You think you're alone in this journey because, you know, you're in your communities and
Yeah.
you're dealing with, you're in certain sections and you're doing your thing day to day.
Yeah.
And then when you come together in a sisterhood or in a group and then you speak what's going on, and you see like, oh my gosh, you know.
So you're leading some of those?
Yes. So yes, I lead circles. I'm just starting to do full day retreats, which will turn into a little bit bigger, to 3-day.
Nice.
And then you can work with me one-on-one, where basically I do a 6-month program where we get into the root. We start to dig up the root of an issue and then start to, you know, through daily practices and through coaching, start to really get into what's going on and start to implement daily habits or daily practices that will help to move through whatever is going on.
So is there, do you have any spiritual component to this? Like, you help people to discover their connection with the universal intelligence?
Well, absolutely, because as I was digging more into what the womb space is, and I uncovered the term womb wisdom, and I'm like, what is that? Or I learned about divine feminine. And I'm like, what is that? And then I learned about the goddess, and I'm like, oh, what is this? You know, and how does this relate? You know, goddess archetypes, and how does that relate to the womb space, right? And those are spiritual components right there, because goddess archetypes, they are archetypes of real people, but now in the spiritual sense, right? And all the qualities that they embody that we can channel into, the whole idea of the divine feminine or the empowered feminine, right? It all comes back into that inner guidance, that inner intuition, that inner knowing that we have that connection from above, within our chakra system, our energetic system through our spine, right? We are connected from above, and we are connected to the earth, right? So that spiritual connection is absolutely there, right? And how we are able to, we all have access to that.
Yes.
Right? We all have access to that. And especially as women, you know, if you go back, there has been a systematic push to squish that down.
Yes.
And now we're in a space where you see it everywhere. There is this rising of really owning what that female power is, and it's to the benefit, and really getting into that is really benefiting our health, our advocation, our creativity, our voice, to enrich our lives, to enrich our families, to enrich our relationships, on the positive ways for the good of humanity. Sometimes it can get twisted and there isn't a full understanding of what that is. And people use that to an advantage of disempowerment, which I'm not for, or twisting it into a way, well, I'm being empowered, they should get theirs. Well, no, but who are you serving? Or if you're hurting somebody else from being in that space, then you're not empowering nobody. You're coming from a selfish place, but you're putting harm on other people. And that's not what this whole divine feminine empowerment movement is about.
It's about love.
It's about love. It's about love for the self, but also once you have that love from that overflow, you're feeding yourself, you're really nourishing the self, and that there's so many different ways that how that translates. But then it's also, it's this it's this alchemy, and it's this transformation of transforming our communities. And it's not just women who benefit for this, men, children, everyone,
Let's talk about the children just for a second, because I mean, when women, moms, grandmas discover their divinity, their power, their inner love, I mean, then our children are raised in a different way. They're not raised in anger or fear. They're raised to discover that for themselves. I mean, we're a generation. I'm a generation before you, but when I discovered the possibility for change for me, one of the things that was really high on my priority list was to break the chain in my family of dysfunction, call it what we will, but that covers a lot. And the women that you're working with, I think many of them, especially if they have children, are thinking that, so how do I make this for my daughter and my little boy, so that they can grow up loving themselves and being, in their full potential. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is really. We're in the space where we are co-creating that, but we're also in the space where we're reframing what that is, to be raising kids that boys have an understanding of being strong and vulnerable, and it's a good thing. And girls to be strong and their vulnerability as a strength, not as a weakness. So for let's say, for example, so when you put those two together, both are having the ideals of respecting each other and nourishing each other and supporting each other, instead of pieces of, there are things that are very characterized as masculine qualities, and things that are grown up with, and there are things that are very feminine qualities, for sure, not to demote any of them, but to be able to work in integration with both of them. And if you have both of them, like for example, if like for the masculine side, for men, if you fully honor and respect a woman, right, and all of it, and all of her qualities and all of her being and everything like that, there would be no rape. There would be no domestic abuse or anything like that, and vice versa. Women also have to have that respect for men and to honor them, and not to be like, you should be this, shame, 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 shame. You know, there is an integration of both, so both people can co-create and co-value each other. If you have that, then there is no abuse. There is no disempowering there is no blame or making someone feel small, or I'm better than you because, you know, this new, and we're figuring, and I mean, I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy. Parents of the world know this. It's not an easy thing, because right now we're dealing with different, you know, everybody's growing up in a different generation where you have different values being put on people. So one group of people could be like in this procreation bubble, and the other is just like, no, men are this, women are this, and they don't mix. You know, you are meant to serve, you are meant to bring in the bacon, you know, and so we're in this space of figuring that all out.
Many belief systems happening at the same
time. Yeah. But what's exciting is that there is this space of realizing we need to figure some stuff out for the betterment of our children growing up.
All humanity.
Yeah, of all humanity, because it's going to serve us for the greater good. Like that vision of utopia does exist. It will take a while to get us there, but you know,
I think it's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lifting the vibration of the whole planet. By serving like you're serving, and helping other people to see that that they come from how can I make a difference as opposed to what's in it for me.
Right.
Then, you know, when we're in service, our lives are all looked after.
Right.
And so I think your message is really powerful.
Right. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I really do.
Yeah.
So how do people get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me through my website, thegoddessmoves.space.
Okay, we'll put this on. We'll tag it.
Through Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Same handle, The Goddess Moves. Email, thegoddessmoves@gmail.com. And I'm in a space where, you know, as a woman of color, to be a space of representation, first of all, right? Because yes, there is a growing representation of all diversity and all shades, but there's still a ways to go. So part of my work is to be the bridge, be a part of that bridge, and to be visible and to be seen. So we can all feel included in the conversation, as opposed to seeing only one set of representation and not enough of everybody. So part of this work is to be that bridge. The other part is to I grew up as a dancer, right? So I've danced through childhood into professional and teaching, and now I'm integrating it into this wellness piece. So really using movement as a bridge and as a holistic tool. Like if I could help put dance as an expressive art in every holistic clinic that is out there, as and make it just as common as acupuncture and massage and movement as a healing tool, you know, like we're creating some magic.
Yes.
You know.
Nice to dance too. I mean, there's not that many places to dance where, you know, it's not like a pub or or if we go to listen to music sometimes in a theater, we can't actually dance, you know. And I love to dance.
Yeah. And it's just that conditioning.
Yeah.
It's to break that conditioning of, you know, because many people, if they say, oh, you know, you dance. Oh, I love dance. I can't dance though. Oh, who told you that?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, who told you that? Like we put this conditioning that dance good dance is on the theater or maybe something you see on TV.
Yeah.
If you're not on beat or if you're doing your own thing, that is just like, oh, that's not good.
That's me.
Right? and it totally, there is no real construct, right?
Yeah.
We are designed to move. We are designed we are not designed to sit and not move. Our bodies and our expression comes from movement. And our highest expression and where we get to those high vibrations comes from movement. Whether we're walking, whether we're in a meeting, you have to get up and you have to engage with people. You know, when you're at a party and your favorite song comes on and you're either having something to drink or not, water, whatever, and your favorite and it's just like, oh yes, and something else happens and you get into that state where it's just like, I feel so good. Now, when we're at that stage of like, if you have your cacao and dance, woo, fantastic.
Yes.
But when you're at that state of like, oh man, this feels so, I wish every moment could feel like this.
Bliss.
Well, what happens if we took that feeling, right? And we're connected. We are so connected to our spirit, right? To our inner guidance, right? To the earth. What if we took that feeling and that is applied to our purpose, our work that we are designed to, our gifts to get out into the world? What if that energy is applied to the playfulness with our kids or with our partner or with our friends? What if that was really applied to this ultimate expression of happiness and enjoyment, of embodiment? That's what embodiment is, right? It's the physical. We take in the knowledge, we read, we have all these tools that we read, we see. But when we embody and we put all those 5 senses and we physicalize and it's in our DNA and we get out there, you know, it's like through love making, through whatever, right?
And healing happens.
Exactly. And this is what I learned through, this is what I've been learning, and it's been coming to a realization through movement.
Yes.
How it is an underlooked tool that is more and more starting to come out.
Be more recognized.
Exactly. And just be able to, part of my job is to cultivate those safe spaces.
Be the queen of movement.
Yes. You know, to have those safe spaces where it's just like, yes, there are spaces where, you know, you're learning choreography and you're learning, but to enjoy the process of that, you know.
I love ecstatic dance.
Yeah, because you just, you know, in ecstatic dance, you just, you know, you hear the music, you connect to it, and you just move however you want to.
Yeah.
And I was looking at a video of jazz masters, and that's the thing that they say, you know. They don't count. They're like, we don't know what this count thing, 1, 2, 3. They learn from the streets. They learn from each other. They listen to the music, and you go. And that's what we do. That's what we do, right? It's to hear that connection.
Do you have a studio where you can do that at? Do you rent studio space? Do you?
I do primarily in Calgary. I'm doing my work out of Evolved Movement Arts.
Kylie's place.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
We love Kylie.
Yeah. So I just.
Hi, Kylie Dawn. We're going to tag you.
Hi, Kylie. Yeah. I just did an open house. Where are we? About a week ago.
Mostly for women only?
Yes. Yeah. However, when is it happening? Very soon, actually. It's November 8th, I believe.
Yes.
It's on a Friday. I'm going to have a movement, I call it a transformative movement journey, called Movement Alchemy.
Are you DJing?
And I curate the music.
You put this
I put my special sauce on the music.
Awesome.
And it is for everybody. It is for men. It is for women. Because I was thinking about how can I primarily work with women, but men have expressed to me I want this too.
Yeah.
It's like I see this, I'm like, yes, but it's not for me. And I'm like, yeah. And I recognize that men want this too. And
Yeah.
how do I offer it in a way that is authentic to me?
Well, in a place like that, if we're dancing together, healing
Yeah.
happens together.
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
Exactly. Well, the compassionate and the understanding, the empathy, we experience this together. So movement alchemy, that is my one of my newer offerings that's going to happen. I believe it's Friday, November 8th.
Okay.
It could be the 9th, but
yeah.
I have to check the calendar.
And
We'll put it on the show notes.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. So you have an event already set up?
So
like
what's
a Facebook
coming?
event?
Yes.
Yes.
So what's coming up right now is that this Sunday I'm having an embodied womb wisdom workshop this Sunday in Cochrane. Community yoga space in Cochrane. And then on November 2nd, that is next Saturday, I'm having a full day retreat, collaborating with Sarosa events. We're having a full day embodied womb wisdom retreat in Tabor, Tabor, Alberta.
Tabor.
Yeah,
Wow.
we're going to Tabor.
Wow.
And then after that will be Movement Alchemy the following week on a Friday at Evolve Movement Arts. So I mean,
this is quite a bit coming up quite quickly.
That is right.
Wow.
I'm just as my mentor. My mentor her name is Sophia Tom, and one of my mentors, and we talk a lot about, being visible and sharing the message, and really not playing small.
Okay.
And we all have that facility in us,
We do.
to push past the blocks and to really get out there.
Yeah.
So, being online for me, I'm a bit of both. I'm a bit of an introvert and extrovert, right? So being online and being visible and being out, I can be very comfortable in large spaces. And then there's other ways where it's just like, okay, okay, I'm really doing this. It's a lot to take in, but in order to grow and to be this, be in this abundant, healthy, wealthy space, I have to stretch myself, and that's what, and that's as individuals, that's what we need to do, to be able to step out there and say, and have a creative desire to be like, write the book, open the shop, do all these things. We have to get out of that comfortable to be in the uncomfortable, but that uncomfortableness is going to push us
to where it's at,
to where we want to go.
Where the juice is.
Exactly.
On the edge.
Exactly. So as I go through this journey, and the people that come to me, we're in this together.
I have a friend, Dr. John DeMartini.
Yes.
Do you know John?
Yes, I
No
do.
way.
I do know his work very well.
And John used to say, if you're not on the edge, you're taking up way too much room.
Exactly. Exactly.
and so being, on that border of chaos and order.
And it's not clear, and that's a scare. It is the fear. It is the scary part. It's just like, I don't know what's going to happen. But Les Brown would say, there is greatness in all of us, and we also, in our journey, in the process of creating what we want, we have to go where most people won't go.
Yes.
Because in the comfort, right? It's comfortable. It's great. It's awesome. We love comfort. There's nothing bad about being comfortable. When we reach a certain financial wellness or whatever, it's comfortable, because we can afford what we want to. We can pay our bills with ease, and just making sure we're good. That's a good, comfortable place to be. Now, as we move forward into this entrepreneurial area, where we're moving into a space where the flow is is this beautiful balance of giving and receiving, and it feels good, you know. It is uncomfortable because a lot of times we don't know where it's coming from until that engine becomes very sustainable and fluid, right?
Yeah.
But in order for it to be sustainable and fluid, we have to be able to go, it has to be worth it to us enough to go through that uncomfortable to get to that that overflow of, you know, you're giving value, you're giving service, you're serving the humanity, you're doing what you need to do for yourself, you're providing for your family, you're doing what you need to do. But they're in this entrepreneurial space. It is not easy, but we do it because we know the where we're going is so much bigger than what we can be, where we can
so we have
be.
a big why. We want to serve.
Yeah.
We are serving.
Yeah.
And you got to have balls.
Yeah.
To step out there and serve.
Yeah.
That's a metaphor.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And I mean, our guides, our ancestors, and you know, whoever we believe in, they're up there championing us and saying, yeah. And we get that gentle push.
I just spent last weekend with Pamela Wilson. Pamela was in town. She's a spiritual teacher, and she's interesting. She said, you know, I never go anywhere alone.
Yeah.
I always bring the divine.
Yeah, it's so true. I will never forget. I was watching. I watch a lot of people.
Tell us a few people you like.
Well,
because people are going to watch this.
Yeah.
They don't live in this town.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe you could recommend some books, some authors,
Absolutely.
some podcasts,
Absolutely. So, along with what we were saying about we're never alone, I was listening to Gabrielle Bernstein, and she was talking about how if we only knew how we are supported and we've got people, you know, like the universe, she had her book, The Universe Has Your Back.
Yes.
That gentle push that says, we're with you, we're here for you. Yes. Go for your dreams. Go, we got you. Fear would not exist if we only understood and we realized that we have that divine support.
Amen.
You know?
Yep.
So yeah, I watch her.
Gabrielle,
Gabrielle. Lisa Nichols. She is, I think she was one of the first people I really started listening to in this wellness and this motivational and self-discovery journey. Lisa Nichols is huge for me. Les Brown.
You mentioned Les Brown, yeah.
My mentor, who actually really helped me to realize the potential of the Goddess Moves and what this could be and putting it out there. My mentor, Sophia Tom, she has a school called Temple Body Arts, and which I'm currently going through the training, and I'm almost going through that training. So. She's a huge inspiration in my life. A book I'm reading right now, Jack Canfield, The Success Principles.
Yes,
I'm actually rereading that book. And Koya Webb. She is a yoga and nutritionist, just phenomenon. I identify with her a lot because she was a former track athlete, and so was I.
No way.
Yeah, I used to do track in junior high and high school, and she went from track to yoga and this whole and as a vegan advocate, and I really am inspired by her work. Black Girl in Om, which is an online community for for women of color, that is really bringing women of color in the space of accessibility of yoga and spirituality and all these things. Latham Thomas, she is a doula and an advocate for mothers and safe pregnancies and yoga and birth. Oh, there is another one. There's so many people, but if
Yeah.
I could name some of those ladies off the top of my head,
Yes. Nice.
those are some that I follow, and a lot of my people that I have in within the Temple Body Arts sisterhood, a lot of those empowered women that have gone through the global mentorship, and have gone on to do businesses. Have done so many that are inspiring me. Sage Levine, who is a women empowerment business coach, she's been very inspirational. Mind Valley is an online
Sure.
platform.
What's his name?
Vision.
Vision. Isn't he amazing?
Yeah.
Now he meditates
Yes.
2 hours a day.
Yes.
2 hours.
Yes.
He,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
But he wakes up at like 7, and he doesn't even touch the phone till 10. You know, and I'm inspired by him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a podcast called Quote of the Day, and it's by Sean Croxton. I actually came across him through another podcast, Liz D'Alto, Wild Soul Movement or podcast, I believe. And so the Quote of the Day podcast is basically short motivational quotes,
Nice.
Monday to Friday, about
Motivational, inspirational.
exactly. Yeah.
So, folks, if you're watching and you have questions, Nicole's going to, of course, be able to come back to this and after, because we're going to post it. And if you have questions, if you want to connect with Nicole, you can just ask questions. We'd love it too if you share this, with on your page or your profile, and help Nicole to really get the word out that what she has is available, and that your friends can be part of it, and that's the way that we get the word out, is we share these, and so please do share, and this really helps her to move. Right, and if you ask all your friends to share it, we could have easily 10,000 people can see this. From this, if people share it, sharing is the key.
Sharing is caring.
That's right.
That's not my line.
No, it isn't. So, just in closing, what else would you like to say?
This work is not about me. I'm a woman. I coexist in this world, just like all of you, and how I embrace my gifts is to be able to share and to hopefully leave a ripple effect with all the people that I interact with. Whether it's you work with me one-on-one, or you come to an event, or we have a conversation, whether we connect, whether it's a song I play that is just like, this spoke to my soul, whether it's something that made you more aware of, the legacy is to leave a ripple effect.
Ripple effect of love, a ripple effect of healing.
However it is, whatever it is that speaks to you, because when we come across people, it's when we're ready to receive whatever it is.
Nice.
Whether it's a teacher, a mentor, a song, a movie, a line, whatever it is. When we're ready to receive it, it will make an impression, it will make a mark. And sometimes we're not ready for it, but it lingers until it makes sense. So my wish and my advocacy is that if I can leave an impression of inspiration, of joy, freedom, or awareness, whatever it is, then I've done my job.
Nice.
I had a woman come to me not too long ago, and she is in remission. She is going through cancer. And I had just lost my uncle of cancer. And it's unfortunately in the family. But she came to me after the class, and she said this was one of the best experiences she has been through in a while, and it made her so happy. And she's been on this journey. And when I hear stories like that, and again, it's not about me, but being a part of somebody's journey and to be able to create a space where they feel that openness and that joy. It's like, okay, I know I'm doing something good, and I know that I'm on the right path.
Nice.
And that it means so much. It's so meaningful.
You're courageous. You are courageous.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming today. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for the work that you're doing for your community and for all of us, for our kids. Thank you so much. And you guys, share this and ask any questions that you have. We're also going to put it on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube at Valley and Beyond Project Awakening. Love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'd love that. And that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. And James, thanks for hooking us up.
Thank you, James.
And, thanks for coming.
Awesome.
And for the work that you do.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Give you a hug. All right.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thanks,
opening
you
up the
guys.
space.
Cheers.